This podcast includes graphic depictions of true crime cases and may contain explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Saw the Devil. This is Robin.
This is Jackie.
And if you're listening to this episode, it must mean that you made it.
I can't believe it. We're here.
We are here. The skies did not open up.
I have clean underwear on.
Yeah. However, there was an earthquake in Alaska last night, followed by a potential tsunami that got canceled.
Yeah, tsunami warning, and then it got canceled. We got excited. We're like, the end is near. It is nigh, and then it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. I must say, I was getting a little nervous. I was like, whoa.
Oh, Zulema.
Yeah. Looks like Chad and Lori are sitting in jail, just having to deal at this point.
I wish that an earthquake would happen while they're in their jail cells, just to make them a little nervous of the ending of times.
No, they want it. That's the problem.
Do you think what happens to the portal when the world ends?
I have no idea.
Do they just slip on in?
Right?
Like a bad date?
Well, they can't really get to Tent City from jail, so.
Oh.
But alas. So, yeah, what did you guys do? Today, we held a party with our Patreon patrons. Unfortunately, we were not able to attend ourselves.
We were busy keeping an eye on the sky, protecting all of you, praying right. From our closets.
Yes. We were in our closets praying. I know that some people had Discord parties. Some people had Facebook group parties. Hopefully you were not partying in person. Hashtag wear your damn mask.
COVID.
We have a lot to talk about in this episode. We have Lori Vallow's... See, we haven't done an episode. We were going to do the episode last week after Lori had her newest preliminary hearing, and then we ended up putting out our Junko Furuta episode. If you have not listened to that, go back. It's just heinously sad and a complete travesty of justice. Multiple of our listeners said that they actually had to take breaks from the episode and then come back and return to it because it was so upsetting. And it really, really is. So tonight we are going to be discussing that preliminary hearing at the beginning of the week, and we'll follow up with an update in the Melanie Pulowski / Brandon Boudreaux saga. And then finally, rounding it out. Now, I know that we promised you an episode on Jason Mao. However, we're moving Jason Mao to next week, and tonight we are coming up with Zulema Pastenes. I know that those are the two figures that you want to know most about, so we will do our best to fill in some additional details on Zulema this evening.
I am so excited.
Me too.
Isn't there something special you want to share about Zulema?
Actually, yes. So I today spent over 2.5 hours on the phone speaking with one of Zulema Pastenes' ex-bosses, a woman who knew her for years and was involved with the Real Love Room, the life coaching, relationship coaching program that Zulema was part of. And I got some tea.
Oh, and that is piping hot, isn't it?
It is piping hot. Zulema is almost like an enigma in this case. No one really knows anything about her. You know, still to this day, how she became involved with Chad, her involvement in the LDS church. I got some details, and it seems like Chad is not the first cult leader that Zulema has followed.
No. And you know what's weird is that it seems like that her boss didn't even know that this had happened with the children either.
Yeah. So this woman, she did request anonymity, just considering everything. She had no idea that the Lori Vallow case even happened. She had no idea.
This means investigators didn't even talk to her.
Right. And here's the crazy part. And you're exactly right, Jackie. Investigators have not spoken with her, and she was Zulema's boss for years. Like you said, that means that they haven't talked to her.
I see an Afterthoughts episode coming.
Yes. So as we do try to take care of our sweet, 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 lovely patrons, we will be discussing the details of the phone call with this woman in our Patreon only Afterthoughts episode. So after this episode, our patrons will be able to have access to the Afterthoughts.
And this is stuff that's not even out there in the ether.
Yeah, it's crazy. So hopefully we will be able to round out Zulema's profile a little bit. It was a crazy phone call. I mean, it was 2.5 hours worth of a phone call about Zulema and what she was like, what she was into, how
her relationships,
her marriage, her conversion. You know, again, we do try to take care of our patrons, so that's going to be an afterthought Patreon only episode.
Well, I'm excited to hear it. Thank you.
Indeed. So that being said, if you are enjoying the show and you want to hear more content, ad-free episodes, get merch, early release, stickers, join our
What Would Oprah Do book club.
Yes, where we are reading I'll Be Gone in the Dark. Feel free to check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/We Saw the Devil. And we have a lot of different tiers going for all the way from $3 to $25 based on the goodies, the bennies. And we are coming up, guys. We have 99 patrons. So we need one more.
One more
to make it to 100. And our next goal is that we are going to get someone to help with sound engineering to help with the production of the show.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's our goal. So we need one more patron. Let's get into it.
Oh, yes. What happened?
Okay. So on the 17th, Lori Vallow entered a plea of not guilty to her misdemeanor charges in Madison County. She went before Judge Michelle Mallard and then asked for a bond reduction after that.
Now, tell me why it's relevant to be that it was for Madison County.
Here's why. So, as everyone knows, Lori only faces misdemeanor charges in Madison County. That's obstruction, solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court. Now, if you recall, she originally had child abandonment charges and a couple other things. Those were all dropped. In Fremont County, that's where her felony charges are. There, she faces 2 charges of conspiracy to conceal, destroy, or alter evidence after J.J. and Tylee were found. So her bail in Fremont County, the felony, is $1 million.
$1 million.
Now, if you recall, and it has been a fun time, let us rewind a little bit. Lori's just been arrested on misdemeanor charges of child abandonment, neglect, the whole bit there. Her bail was set at $1 million. Chad's out, living fancy-free with kids in his backyard, and he can't get her out. No bail bondsman will get her out.
Oh, gee, I wonder why.
No one will take her case for money. Don't know what her collateral was, but no one would help them get her out of jail.
They thought she was a flight risk, right?
I think that everyone knew that it was likely that murder charges were going to drop, or at least more serious felonies, so no one really wanted to touch her with a 10-foot pole.
Who would now?
Right? No one. And so that's the point. So again, this preliminary hearing was for Madison County, okay? So Madison County, her bail was in fact lessened to $150,000. I saw a lot of people getting upset on Facebook and everywhere else. No need to get upset, lovelies, because she still has the $1 million in Fremont County.
Well, she's got quite the debt racked up.
Now, that's the nature of our justice system, and it is a wonderful feature. Your bail can only be set at roughly the same amount as other people who have committed the same crimes. So there's a range of bail and bail amounts. Now, Lori's misdemeanor charges amount to pretty relatively small sentences, right? So just 2 years of jail time or a $2,500 fine. Her obstruction, solicitation, and contempt of court charges, they don't warrant $1 million. So Mark Means, her defense attorney, put in a motion for a bond reduction. Judge Mallard went, she got her notes. They took about a 5-minute break. Now, this was streamed on East Idaho News, and Nate Eaton, bless you. And another thing I would like to address just momentarily. In a previous episode, the episode where Nate interviewed Melanie and Ian, in one of our earlier episodes, I said, I believe, that, Nate's canceled because the transcript of that interview was altered a little bit.
Yes, I was wondering about that.
Now, whereas I don't agree with the transcript having been altered, I do think that Nate has more than made up for it. Perhaps it could have been out of his control, but he has been doing an incredible job.
Did you see their cute shirts that they made?
I did. I'm sad that they had a limited supply. I totally would have gotten one.
Yeah, keep your mugshot off of East Idaho News.
Very cute shirts. So yeah, just wanted to say that. So this preliminary hearing was aired on East Idaho News. And then after about 5 minutes, it went back to court. Mark Means, put in the motion. Rob Wood said he had no issue with it. And so immediately in Madison County, the bail has been reduced to $150,000. What I found interesting on that is, should she get bail, they added on an additional condition for no contact with her co-conspirators. She can't talk to Chad. So even if she were to somehow win the lottery, some sad son of a biscuit came and bailed her out, she can't have contact with Chad.
Well, I guess she exchanged the Hawaiian Islands for her own little personal isolation, huh?
Yeah, sounds
little
like
piece of paradise in jail.
Now, Lori has pled not guilty to all of these charges and also requested a trial by jury.
That's going to be really hard with the tainted jury pool. I feel like everyone in Idaho probably knows what's going on now. Mm-hmm. So how are they going to do it?
Prosecutor Rob Wood just asked the court not to allow video coverage of the preliminary hearing in Fremont County for the conspiracy charges.
Boo.
Yeah, I know. He says that it's going to make it more difficult to pick an unbiased jury. Before everyone gets their, knickers in a knot, this is not a motion to close or seal the whole trial. It would just be this preliminary hearing, and it would just be closed to video. So that means that other news outlets, journalists, news people would get the audio and a transcript of it.
Robin, you're assuming everyone wears knickers.
Knickers.
Not all of us wear them.
So yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, although, a lot of our patrons, I speak with them, we have a whole handful of patrons who live in Idaho, and they actually say that you would be surprised how many people have not heard of this case.
But in Rexburg itself, right, in the surrounding area, like Idaho Falls, I imagine everyone knows everyone to a degree. It's such a small community.
That's what I'm assuming as well. I mean, this is some pretty awful, grisly stuff to happen in a very small Idaho town, I imagine.
Yeah, it's not every day you find bodies in a backyard either, or missing children.
Yeah. If you guys were, like us, hoping to watch that preliminary hearing, it's set for August 10th and August 11th. Currently, Court TV is approved to broadcast the whole hearing, but we shall see how that transpires and if it's going to be closed or sealed. Another piece that people are talking about a lot lately is the fact that Lori Vallow waived her right to a speedy trial, and a lot of people are asking questions about this. The Sixth Amendment of the Constitution guarantees that a criminal defendant has the right to a speedy trial by an impartial jury. Lori waived her right to a speedy trial, hence why we are now looking into January. And that is completely normal. In fact, it's more commonplace than not. It gives the defense time to prepare, gather witnesses, do interviews, and just overall deep dive more into it. And yes, obviously it gives Rob Wood, the prosecutor, more time to prepare as well, but you have to keep in mind that the prosecution already has done a lot of legwork to even get to the point of charging Lori to begin with. Basically, the right to a speedy trial our Constitution ensures that, say Lori didn't waive her right to a speedy trial. It just basically makes sure some states have different days or like a different time frame that they've adopted on their state constitutions, guidelines for what a speedy trial means, because the Constitution, the Sixth Amendment, actually doesn't define the time confines of what a speedy trial consists of. In any case, it's actually more common than not that a defendant will waive their right to that to give them time and their defense team the time to really do the work. As I said a moment ago, we're looking at January. So in the preliminary hearing, they discussed January. The judge asked Mark Means, how long do you think you'll need? And they're trying to schedule the trial. And Mark Means said that he needed at least 6 months. Rob Wood, the prosecutor, said that he agreed with Means and that they also may consolidate the charges. Lori's trial will begin on January 25th at 9 a.m. and run until the 29th. That's 4 days as it stands right now. Now, all of these things can change depending on any additional evidence, any additional charges. All of this could potentially change.
What about Chad Daybell?
So Chad Daybell has a pretrial hearing on August 3rd or 4th. So that's coming up here soon. The bottom line, guys, is that we are in here for a long haul. It is going to be a very, very lengthy process because I think that we all know that there are additional charges coming for Lori. There are additional charges coming for Chad, most likely. Melanie Pulowski is likely to get a charge or two, here or there, kind of getting little snippets and sneak peeks throughout with the Brandon Boudreaux saga, that she at least had knowledge of the attempt on his life. It's It's going to get crazy, but instead of day-to-day constant coverage of this case, we're probably going to be dealing with drops in the bucket.
My interest lies in Melanie Gibbs' role in all of this when it goes to trial. I think that's going to be really interesting to see.
Melanie Gibb is a witness for the prosecution.
A star witness.
Star
right?
witness, exactly, for the prosecution. So
God help us all. This gullible woman.
I would not feel comfortable having Melanie Gibb.
She's a step away from being in a nursing home, lost, dazed, and confused or something. Like,
bless her soul, or bless her heart. So let's move on to the third and final piece of all of this. Melanie Pawlowski and Brandon Boudreaux saga. So a Maricopa County judge this week ruled that Melanie Pawlowski's motion to hold Brandon Boudreaux, her ex-husband, in contempt was denied.
uh-oh.
Basically, more or less, the court says that Brandon showed persuasive evidence that controverts Melanie's testimony that she had nothing to do with the attempted murder of Brandon. That's crazy. So again, little sneak peeks here. Melanie Pawlowski's initial filing, if you guys recall, accused Brandon of making false statements. And Brandon replied, saying that Melanie was hiding from law enforcement after an attempt was made on his life. The document said that based on the circumstances, the court does not find it unreasonable for Boudreaux to believe Pawlowski was hiding from law enforcement. Because after, if you recall, the attempt on his life, Melanie pretty much fled and went into hiding. Brandon has had the children this entire time. I also find this particular debacle to be really interesting because Melanie was literally like, take the kids, I don't care, we'll figure it out. She got rid of all their crap, set it out on the sidewalk, and just left and went to Idaho.
What?
And then now she's trying to play in their custody dispute. The upset, doting mother who loves her kids and wants them back. I hope she never, ever, 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 ever sees her children again. And I feel terrible for the children, but the stories that are coming out from her and her family, like she would sit in her closet, literally closet, guys, again, another closet portal.
Oh no.
She would sit in her closet and pray all day long, and her kids were severely neglected. Her house was disgusting. It did not really look well for Melanie Pawlowski.
Now, to you, Robin, here's my question, is that out of all the things of Melanie Pawlowski, what do you think is the most endangering to the children?
Oh, she was in Chad's group. So also, okay, well, two pieces. She was in Chad's group, number one. Number two, her children were listed on Chad's document too. I think at least one or two of them were considered dark. I'll have to double check. I don't have it in front of me, but like at least one of her children was considered dark by Chad. Don't forget, Melanie Gibb and Lori were like best friends in Arizona and hung out all the time. And Melanie Gibb says that she and Melanie Pawlowski, formerly Boudreaux, became very, very close and had a a very special relationship.
Special relationship.
Melanie Gibb says she emotionally helped Melanie Boudreaux through her divorce with Brandon. So she knew all of this stuff. I think they're just so crazy.
Do you think this is going to come out in the trial, maybe? When she's being the star of prosecution?
I hope so.
I want to hear more about it.
I certainly hope so.
I mean, it's just insane to label some like your children as dark entities that need to be eliminated.
No, it's absolutely disgusting.
It's insane. How can so many people subscribe to the same ideology that they need to kill their children?
I know. I totally don't get it.
There must be something deeper on this that we're missing. I feel like it. I feel like a lot of people agree with that sentiment.
So the court also stated in this document that Melanie Pawlowski never provided Brandon with her new address after she left Arizona and went to Idaho. LeeAnn Pawlowski basically said that she didn't want him to share her full name with anyone because she was scared that Brandon would find her. Okay, Brandon was just trying to serve her with a motion for temporary orders. He wasn't trying to hunt her down and kill her. He was merely trying to get this show on the road.
Do you think it'd be the other way around? That he should fear for his life?
I would say that if Alex Cox were still alive, then probably.
Since Boudreaux was just trying to serve her a motion for temporary orders, what did the court say about the evidence? What did the court have to say about that?
So the court said that there was ample enough evidence that Melanie knew about the December 11th hearing. And remember, if you recall, she didn't show up for it. And that's why Brandon was originally given sole legal decision-making authority for the kids. Melanie's like, I had no idea. But service was effective. So there was that. And then they just pretty much reminded that the attempted murder of Brandon Boudreaux is still being investigated by Gilbert police, which I have very little faith in police in Arizona right now because of this case. Alrighty, so that pretty much ties up the legal aspect of this week. It looks like 50% of our show is going to be legal documents. So there we have it.
I'm really excited for more for August.
You're excited for August?
Yes.
For Chad's preliminary hearing?
Yeah, I wanna see if his face disappears into his own neck.
Like he's heading down the path of Big Ed on 90 Day Fiancé.
Oh, I hope so. I wonder if, as he serves time in jail, if he's gonna look more and more rough and rough and rough.
I don't know. More and more haggard. I have no idea. Alrighty, guys, so let's get into it. Let's discuss one of the major players in this game who hasn't gotten a terrible amount of airplay. I know some people have talked about her, but let's talk about Zulema Pastenes.
Ruth.
Yeah, Zulema Ruth Pastenes. So Zulema, most of you know, Zulema is in Chad's group. She supposedly could manifest and create earthquakes. She ended up marrying Alex Cox on November 29th of 2019. And he ended up dead in her bathroom 2 weeks later.
Oh, God.
So very little has been previously known about her other than some bits and pieces here and there. So let's discuss what we know overall.
Other than being suspicious as hell.
Suspicious.
Alrighty.
So Zulema is 56 years old and she was born in Chuquicamata, Chile on March 4th, 1964. She somehow ended up going to Miles Community College in Miles City, Montana. There, she met a man by the name of Kevin Steele, and they got married in August of 1984. They had one daughter, Megan, who's now 34, and they currently live in Phoenix, Arizona. Kevin lives in Phoenix and works as an elementary school teacher.
Oh, boy. Doesn't Kevin Steele sound like something out of one of those sultry novels?
Mm-hmm. So Zulema's next husband was Joe Lopez, and they were married when Megan was very young. Unfortunately, I can't find the marriage date on that one, but they did end up having one child together, Joseph, who is now 25 years old. And Joseph, if you recall, is the one who called 911 when he discovered Alex, supposedly. They got a divorce in September of 1996. Interesting bit there. However, it seems like Joseph Lopez is actually still very much involved in his son's life. So here we have Zulema and her criminal record. So April 16th of 1996, she pled guilty to dangerous drug possession and paraphernalia.
Oh, wow.
It was meth, by the way.
Oh, I wonder where the burner phones came from. Anyway, sorry.
So on July 10th, 1998, which is 2 years later, she again pled guilty to 2 dangerous drug possession charges as well as paraphernalia, but the paraphernalia charges were later dropped. Again, 2 years later, methamphetamine.
I guess she dropped that crack pipe.
Her next relationship was with a man by the name of Johnny Onifriton. Pardon me butchering that. I have no idea how to even know how to pronounce that. There's no marriage record for them, but they did end up having a daughter, Kara, who is now 18 years old.
I feel bad for her.
Somewhere in the realm of like 2012, 2013, thereabout, it looks like Zulema joined a company called The Loving Room.
Oh, no. No, you don't want to be in that loving room.
It looks like the Loving Room looks like it has quite a bit to do with the emotion code or energy work. It was founded by a man with the name of Greg Bayer, and he's supposedly, allegedly, an MD. He's an author who writes books on energy healing and energy work. Now, his wife Donna and Zulema had a huge presence on the Real Love website.
Oh, God.
And you can actually check that out. You can go in the Wayback Machine, or you can go on to Twitter. Donna Bayer, her Twitter name, if you want to look it up, is at Donna Bayer, Baer. And you can see a lot of the old ads for The Loving Room. And what they do is they counsel people on how to be a better wife, how to be a better parent, how to love yourself. You know, the inspirational things that people eat up.
Can we talk about Johnny Ono real fast? He on his Facebook, it says that he's the Sausage King. Sausage King of Chicago, nonetheless. That is a big claim to make, mister.
So for all of you folks who live in the Phoenix, Arizona area, Zulema's ex-husband is the founder of Johnny Dogs. Johnny, JOHNNY DOG AZ. JohnnyDogAZ.com. And it's basically a hot dog and catering company. So this is really, it looks like the living room is really kind of where Zulema started getting into a lot of the energy stuff. She starts appearing on multiple podcasts. Now, one of those is on a blog talk radio show called Trials to Grace. And on this podcast, she talks about her healing work. She talks about how she was molested by her stepfather and how she overcame it. The person who hosted this particular talk show had apparently known Zulema for a long time. They discussed hypnotherapy that they had done with Zulema. And it was just a very, very, very odd episode. If you want to listen to that, it is still up. It is on YouTube and it's called Trials to Grace. Highly suggest you listening to that. Zulema's voice is not at all how you would expect.
And what was your takeaway from her voice?
It does just not match the body. I don't know. It sounds almost like how you would expect Lori to sound if Lori wasn't a murdering bitch. It was just so calm and nice and feminine. It's so weird.
I'm here to heal you.
Yeah, I'm here to heal you. Hi, thank you for having me.
I have drug charges, but that's okay.
Right?
Don't worry about it. I'm here to touch you.
So speaking of touching,
Oh no.
Let's talk about her cuddle up profile.
Oh god.
So, cuddle up. Now, guys, I know we're in Portland and the cuddle therapy stuff is huge here.
She's 5'2" and she's a Pisces.
Yeah. So her cuddle up profile says she was 35, which Hispanic. She was from Phoenix, Arizona, 5'2", thin, which we all know that was not true as well, and Pisces. And her hashtags are cuddle professional, cuddle therapy, touch expert, life coach. I provide healing through unconditional love, and teaching.
See, I'm a Pisces. Now I know not to trust her.
Right?
That bitch is crazy. Stay away.
You're telling on yourself, Jackie.
Oh, oops.
So in 2013, I found so she was working for Real Love, right? Or the Loving Room, shall I say. And they were doing a lot of meetups. Like these people would actually have meetups on meetup.com and get groups of people and they would do like little seminars and little meetups and cuddle therapy. And in 2013, I found a Facebook post where she was replaced in Unity and then started making Real Love groups in Maricopa County. So I'm assuming at least here we have documented back to 2013. She was doing her cuddle therapy stuff in Maricopa County. In 2014, she was a host again of a Real Love event, and they really pumped this one out and promoted it everywhere. Like Zulema Pastenes.
Is this a guise for like something else? On her profile, it literally says hashtag touch expert.
Yeah.
Hashtag cuddle professional.
Mm-hmm.
And says, I provide healing through unconditional love and teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure she means love and touching.
Yes.
I'm suspicious as hell. This is like going into the wrong massage parlor. I'm just like...
I know. It's like, what?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, again, so November of 2014, we have an ad, Real Love co-ed group Zulema host. And so she hosted an event there. So she was still in the Real Love. So in 2013, her next husband is a man by the name of Shannon Hunter. We don't really know when she met Shannon or when they got a divorce. All we know is that it was roughly sometime in 2013. And this is because tracked down Shannon Hunter. And now he says in a Facebook post, I face a dilemma and put it out there for advice. Right now, I could sell my house that I got in my divorce from Zulema Pastenes and would make $10,000 that I badly need and save my credit. However, Zulema, to be spiteful, will not sign the quitclaim deed like she agreed to do in the divorce because she found out I could make money on the deal. Since the divorce, Zulema has stolen tax return money from me, wrote a fictitious, defamatory, and slanderous letter to a judge in my ex-wife's behalf to try to help trick a judge into giving custody of my children to my ex-wife, which a judge angrily responded to this letter to my ex-wife in court as, quote, slanderous and wrong to have been submitted such lies, as well as not signed the quitclaim deed, and is now screwing me out of money and wrecking my credit for 7 years just to be mean. Right now, I have two options. The first is to just let my house go and let her screw me and take it as a loss and move on with my life. The second is ask the court to hold her in contempt of court because she has not done what the court has ordered. She is a resident alien from Chile, and if I file this, she will go to jail and then be deported. She has 2 grown kids and an 11-year-old that is American. Zulema will go, but the child will be left here. I really don't know what to do, and if you have real advice, I'd love to hear it.
Here's my advice. One is that she's not really good at cuddling. She's not good at that true love that she promises if this is the result every time she gets with a guy.
Yeah, it wasn't working out.
This is bad for her resume.
I know. So that's 2013 minus 7. That puts her marriage to Shannon roughly about 2006. Couldn't find any record of him whatsoever, really. Apparently, she dicked over Shannon. So, looks like she moved on to Rob Porter, a man by the name of Rob Porter. You can see him on Facebook with a picture of her. They got married at some point. Don't know when. Couldn't find the marriage license for that one. But they did end up getting divorced in January of 2017.
Surprise, surprise.
Right? There was a civil suit against Zulema by Elizabeth Hanosh in November of 2017. It was dropped by the courts in January of 2018. I did reach out to Elizabeth, and she did decline to speak with us.
What do you think the suit was about?
Not quite sure.
A bad cuddle session. Didn't get payment. Could you imagine?
How does Zulema fit into the puzzle here? As far as we can tell, Zulema has been in Arizona for a very, very, very long time. It's like she was born in Chile, came to the United States, went to college in Montana, and it seems like she's been in Arizona since that time. You know, she's had a few drug arrests in the 90s. She's gone through 5 husbands, not including Alex. She doesn't really have, to my knowledge, a college degree. It's just broken up here and there. She's taking classes at a couple different places. One place including St. Joseph's College in Chile. She's worked a variety of different jobs too. So she worked at some financial institutions. She's worked at multiple, again, I repeat, multiple life insurance companies.
That's not suspicious.
Right? In Chile, it looks like she worked for some sort of child services.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No.
In Chile. And then on her Facebook page, it said that she worked as a former case aide at Arizona Department of Child Safety.
Right. No? Hard pass?
Right. It seems like she had a course of legitimate jobs. Also on her Facebook profile, it says she worked at Odyssey Services, Arizona Department of Child Safety, the Argonaut Group, multiple life insurance companies. And then we get into stuff like emotion code practitioner, life coach, cuddle therapy, all that kind of stuff. No one is exactly sure how the Loving Room made money, how it made a profit. No one is literally sure of that.
Here's my question is that aren't they doing background checks before hiring people anymore?
Right.
Like if you have all these drug possession charges, doesn't that kind of bar you from working with the state? I mean, there has to be a background check before you work with child services.
Here's what we know. So she lived in the general Phoenix area, right? Zulema was started to get into a lot of religious stuff. So all of her Facebook, her Twitter, it all started to reflect far-right religious views. Everything was Christ-centric. Literally every day she mentioned Christ. Now, if you want proof of this, you can go to her Twitter account, which is Woman of Christ, and then the number 4. Woman of Christ 4 is Zulema's Twitter account, and it's insane.
That's hard not to laugh at. I'm sorry.
It's funnily enough, her Twitter account has almost the same type of design and graphics as Jason Mao's Warrior shit.
Oh.
So Zulema and where is Jason Mao based out of primarily? Arizona.
Mm-hmm. So, don't forget, she also did training support at the American Red Cross.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry. I'm just surprised.
Yeah, right. We know that she got into deep religious stuff and then ended up on the Avow message board. And she had a couple different profiles on Avow. One went by Z Tops. It said that she was from Kaysville, Utah. And then the other one was her actual name, Zulema Pastenes. So she had 2 names on the Avow message board. So that's one pathway that she could have used to run into Lori, Chad, and everybody else. She was in multiple YouTube videos. She was in blog talk stuff. There's really no telling how she ended up hooking up with Chad. I have absolutely no idea how she met Chad, Lori, or any of them. I almost wonder if she ran into Melanie Gibb first. Who knows?
I wonder if there's a connection with Jason Mao.
Her first so social media wise, right? The only kind of glimpse at this that we have is that Zulema liked one of Jason Mao's Instagram posts. in October of 2018. That's literally all we have. He posted a thing on Instagram basically talking about setting up for preparing a people event in St. George, Utah. And that is their first known public social media interaction. And that was 2018. So who knows?
I wonder if they met through a forum, to be honest with you.
It's possible. Maybe they met through a vow, and that's why people in a vow are being so suspicious. What's so really super suspicious is the fact that Zulema, the internet has literally been scrubbed, or she has self-scrubbed, like an insane amount. All of these websites, even if they weren't owned by her, websites that held information about her, ads or whatever, they're all gone. You can see links, but they're all gone. Her life, social media-wise, has like almost been entirely scrubbed.
You know what I think? I think that maybe she cuddled Jason Mao. I think that maybe they met through cuddling. Maybe she met everyone through cuddling.
Well, that's really interesting that you say that, because there was a post in True Crime Underground. Shout out to you guys. That is one of our favorite groups, if not our favorite, on Facebook. So someone put a post in there and said, and I'm just going to read it because it's really interesting. And this is very well known and it's been making the rounds, but I digress. Someone said, I heard as Brandon Boudreaux remarried recently to Jennifer Moses. Can anyone confirm? Then they go into the gay rumors surrounding Brandon, which I think they're irrelevant. Okay. Zulema's energy healing included conversion therapy. Alex went through conversion therapy with her before getting married. And yes, we are talking about gay conversion therapy. Jason Mao went through multiple therapy sessions, and then parentheses, not specified to be conversion therapy, with Zulema, and they could be intense. Jason Mao has a dark side that wrestles for control. Zulema called Chad in as a second to assist her for one of Mao's therapy sessions in 2019. Chad flew down to Arizona for it.
What'd you do, spank him?
Right? No, so this got my wheels turning. Fall 2009, Chad had to fly down to Phoenix, to Arizona for this. What does that make you think of?
Oh, when he had to fly out to help a friend redo his house?
Exactly. I wonder if that could have been it. Now, here's the thing. Chad's flight was on September 19th. So he would have made it like afternoon of September 19th. Jason Mao had an appearance in Billings, Montana on the 20th. So could it have been that weekend? Like, could Chad have made it down there for one of his energy healing sessions that evening?
Maybe.
Very weird. But I wonder if that was actually what he was doing.
And went back with him to Idaho.
Yeah, and then
because it's en route. If you think about it, it's en route to Billings, Montana. Did he fly?
I don't know. Nobody's looked into this yet.
Maybe we should. Any of you out there want to look into it?
And then obviously this culminates with Zulema marrying Alex Cox on November 29th, 2019 in Las Vegas. Him ending up dying on her floor a couple weeks later in the bathroom. And she has been pretty much just gone ever since. The only time that we have seen Zulema is at the first big custody hearing with Melanie Pulowski and Brandon Boudreaux. Melanie Pulowski arrived with Ian, her husband, Summer, her sister, and Zulema. So what that tells me is that Zulema is a very, 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 very entrenched member of this family.
What's a better front for a drug ring than Christ?
Right.
And cuddle therapy. I mean, I'm just kind of like wondering here. Mm-hmm. I mean, she has a past, right? We can never ever discount someone's past, especially when it comes to drugs, possession of drugs and stuff like that. She didn't seem to really have the story that she was a clean addict.
No, not at all. It's really interesting, her background, because, and again, a lot of this stuff has been scrubbed, even scrubbed from the Wayback Machine. Like, it's there one day and then it's gone. So it's really interesting how that is just disappearing. I found on one of the old websites, like her contact information, Zulema's work history. So she was a child family services specialist at Applied Behavioral Interventions. She, again, was a life coach, a parenting, real love, dating coach. She was a brand ambassador at GMR Marketing. She did training support, like you said, Jackie, at American Red Cross. And it said that she was studying computer science at Miles Community College.
No. Is that verified?
I mean, I didn't call them and try to, the clearinghouse and try to request her records.
We should.
It's interesting.
It's weird because, you would think that she'd be more into like drug intervention or something. A lot of people become, if they're past addicts, they want to help other people overcome that. you know, especially if they seem to get their lives together and back in order, and they go into social work. They'll go to school and actually get a license for it.
Right.
So I don't see any proof or evidence of that kind of work from her. She just goes into cuddling. It's weird.
Yeah, and speaking of cuddling, so I found her Cuddle Comfort. It's a website where you can find cuddle sessions or offer your services. And her profile, so there's no way that she had to have lied about her age. We're talking 2014, 2013, right? She is 56 years old in 2020. In 2014, that's what, 6 years ago? She would have been 50. On her profile, she's stating she's 35.
Oh, God, me too, girl. Me too.
Girl, good luck. Major props. So on her Cuddle Comfort profile, it says that she's married, 35, woman. She's seeking either men or women. She lives in Phoenix, Maricopa County, Arizona. She's Hispanic. She's 5'2". Her body type was described as fit. She did not smoke, drink, and it says she never does drugs.
Oh, okay.
Religion is Christian, sign Pisces, education college, job professional cuddler.
You want to hear something very interesting about Cuddle Comfort is that apparently a lot of people who do work for it have to state that they are not prostitutes. It just seems so unlikely that she's signing up and with her history of men that she's only in it for cuddling, okay?
Right. She's in it to literally take everything that they have.
Yeah, so she could be looking for a new sugar daddy. Mm-hmm. A new unsuspecting victim.
Yeah, it's true. To that point too, there on a forum, I believe it was Reddit, someone posted and they were talking about Zulema and just like how it's crazy and how it's just nuts. And someone posted, and it's Shannon Hunter, her ex-husband's daughter. She said, "My dad, Shannon Hunter, was married to Zulema before her and Alex got married. Zulema was married to my dad for 4 years from 2007 to 2011, and she was crazy. She left by stealing $10,000 from my dad and half of the stuff in the house. My dad married her after she tricked him into believing that she was a completely different person than who she really was. She thought he was going to come into a great deal of money. Then literally the day they came home from their honeymoon, she became a whole different person. Her and her son are nuts and nothing but trouble."
So she got with him thinking that he was going to be the next gold mine.
It seems like Zulema has a history of this, I would say.
Yeah, which is interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is that you don't find much about the information of her working for insurance companies either.
No, just like scattered here and there. And I wonder if Zulema's piece was to help Lori, try to hack into life insurance policies. I don't know.
The loopholes, the system, play the system, play the system, play the man.
But she did know Jason Mao at least, their first social media interaction was in October of 2018. She very clearly, I believe truly in my heart with no evidence to substantiate this, that her marriage to Alex was arranged by Chad, or if not Chad and Lori, and that she was sent and dispatched to him to kill him. Like, possibly. To tie up that loose end.
Now, I hate that they ruled it out as natural death, like natural causes. It feels so unredeeming considering he probably killed the children or had a hand in it for sure.
Well, I feel like, after they found the children, Alex was sent away for additional testing. So in my gut, don't quite feel like we were done with Alex Cox just yet.
I'm hoping something comes out of it. I need some closure.
And it's also really interesting. And please let us know. Send us an email again to info@wesawthedevil.com. If you guys have seen in multiple places that there have been interviews with like the medical examiner and the sheriff's department there, and like Tammy's autopsy was apparently done in February. Like, done. And then that got scrubbed off the internet entirely. And I saw screenshots of it too, of like an online interview, and they said her autopsy was completely...
Wait, I do recall that, yes.
Yeah. And then it was scrubbed, disappeared. So I don't know. It's really interesting how people are getting screenshots of all this stuff. And again, things can be doctored, obviously.
Absolutely.
But, things are coming and going, it seems, and getting scrubbed here and there. And it's really weird. So another person, just so y'all know, on Reddit posted in regards to Zulema. Zulema and my dad were married for 4 years, and she is beyond crazy. She encouraged my brother to commit suicide at 16 years old, and when I was 8, I had to help him undo the noose. She's something crazy.
What? I mean, we also have family dispute, and every time family matters take place like that, you don't know exactly what he said, she said. You know, you have to cherry pick it. And that's the hardest thing for me, honestly, is to cherry pick the truth out of all of this. But we know that she has a history. We know she has a past. We know that she has connections with health insurance or life insurance, and that we know she's been through multiple marriages. We know that she has this kind of online profile of cuddle therapy and has hopped from man to man. And we know she has a connection to drugs. We know there were burner phones involved. We know that she has this kind of like weird connection to Jason Mao. We know this. So what does that mean? What does this mean for us? Is she even going to play a role in the trial?
That's a great question. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this, her piece of the puzzle fits into all of this. The interesting part is she's actually using the Cox family attorney, Lori's mother and sister, P. Jarvis. She's using their attorney. That's also Zulema's attorney.
Ooh.
The interesting part of this is that there are a bunch of rumors. I don't know. I mean, she's been silent unless she shows up to, somewhere, like a court hearing or something, that she actually left and went back to Chile. No one has heard from Zulema. No one knows where she is, where she has gone. And so people are speculating that she left the country.
That would take Interpol at that point if she does get indicted for anything.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, she has all of her kids here, and she was supposed to have done the earthquake thing. So I guess we'll just have to see how all of this turns out. But this is the information that we were able to glean off of Zulema Pastenes. But that's it for this week, guys. Next week, we will be talking about Jason Mao, and we'll be talking about his military records, his beliefs, the things that he said, and also how he could potentially be involved. Beyond that, again, you can find us at www.wesawthedevil.com. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at We Saw the Devil. You can find us on Instagram at We Saw the Devil Podcast. And don't forget, if you like the show, you want to back us, get some goodies, we have a bunch of stuff. You can go to our website or check us out on Patreon to find the bennies, the benefits.
The bennies, $10 and up, you get almost like a subscription box from us.
Yeah, you get a monthly gift. Everyone $10 and up gets a monthly gift. So last month, as we said, the little grenade thing, we got what one of our patrons calls a ball shriveler.
The ball shriveler.
The theme was self-defense. So ladies, what it was, it's like one of those little handheld things that you put to your keychain, and it has a hell of a flashlight on it, so you can blind someone, and then the side has a little pen on it, and that is almost as loud as your home security alarm.
I'm pretty sure it is as loud as like a home alarm. It's awesome. I've been thinking of modifying it and attaching it to things to prank you with, but I've been nice.
I appreciate that. I wasn't expecting it, and when we got them delivered, I pulled the pen and almost like crapped myself. It was so loud. The dogs got upset. Like, it was a whole mess. So that's what went out in last month's Patreon $10 nut box.
Change your pants kind of mess.
Again, check us out. Thank you again to all of our current patrons. And a big shout out to the Anxious Dandelion Wax Melts. It makes amazing, highly scented melts for your house, and can confirm
they smell good.
They smell amazing, and they're beautiful too.
Yes.
So check them out on Etsy or Facebook. Order some. Your house needs to smell delicious. We're apparently not quite done yet, guys.
Not the end of the world either.
Not the end of the world either. And it seems as though Chad Daybell's attorney just responded to Rob Wood's motion to seal his upcoming preliminary hearing to the media and public. If you recall, Rob Wood is requesting that there be no cameras in Chad's upcoming preliminary hearing in the first week of August.
Is it because Chad's a beauty queen?
Right.
Everyone wants a photo of Chad.
As a legal nerd, this is super interesting to me because usually it's actually the defense that requests that cameras not be allowed because the defense doesn't want the jury pool to be tainted. In this case, the prosecutor, Rob Wood, is the one who requested that it be sealed to the public. And not entirely. He just doesn't want cameras there. He said that no cameras, however, he would be open to audio and then audio, transcription from the audio being given to news outlets. So we would still know as listeners, people interested in this case, what transpired and hear it. We just wouldn't be able to see it. So that was interesting in itself. But then Chad's attorney, John Pryor, came out and said, no, we want cameras. And the document came out and it says, quote, "The prosecution is correct that there has been an overwhelming amount of local interest and attention to this case, statewide and national coverage. The issue of venue for a potential trial is an issue to be addressed at a later hearing. The state and local law enforcement have both made public statements and appeared on camera, presenting their opinions and analysis in a very public way. The local community has placed signs on the entrance into St. Anthony. I have observed a number of signs and references to this case in my travels throughout Fremont and Madison County, including the blue ribbons placed at the entrance of the Madison County Courthouse and entrance to the prosecuting attorney's office in Madison County. At no time has my office made any media appearances or made any public statements to the media. I believe my client should be afforded a fair and unbiased hearing without drawing an overwhelming amount of attention to the case. The difficulty in this matter is that the amount of local attention has been overwhelming. The court needs to properly balance the rights of Mr. Daybell and protect the public's right to know. I believe the court has two options to address the issues of protecting Mr. Daybell's rights and the public's right to view the proceedings in a public way. The court's current decision and order in this case is the most appropriate way to address those concerns. Another way to address these concerns would be to open the courthouse to the public and allow people to view the proceedings, taking into consideration the current health pandemic. I believe the court's current order regarding the upcoming preliminary hearing should remain in place." What's so interesting about this is, what is his play? And like I said, the legal nerd in me is just like geeking out over this because, like I said, the defense team is the one that primarily throws out the, hey, we don't want this being public.
Yeah, let's not taint the jury pool and give the public opinion so they end up having weigh in on a bias.
Exactly. So that's what most defense attorneys would do. But in this case, we have Rob Wood, the prosecutor, doing it. So is Chad's game going to be attempt to basically calling a mistrial over the jury pool being tainted? Rob Wood kind of threw it out there to bait them. Is Rob Wood just trying to do this in general to keep it from happening? I wonder why it's reversed. It's interesting. I do not know, but it's super interesting.
I think so.
We would be fine with reading the transcripts as well. Obviously, we want to see them, see how they're doing, just because of our own personal investment and interest in this case. It would be nice to have video.
I think what's interesting is how COVID's playing out in all of this too, and how it's changing courts right now. Mm-hmm. How court proceedings continue on and drag on, and I think video is necessary.
Agreed. And don't forget that Lori Vallow's attorney also did the exact same thing. 2 days ago, Rob Wood also requested that Lori Vallow's next preliminary hearing be sealed as well from video. I'm trying to understand Rob Wood's play here.
Do you think that he's afraid that maybe Lori Vallow is going to try and use her looks?
I don't know.
It's so odd. I've never actually seen this. Have you? Or heard of something similar to this?
I haven't honestly kept up with this phase of enough trials to give an answer on that. Rob Wood, he asked... And this, again, is particularly about the felony charges in Fremont County, the conspiracy and concealment charges. So, I don't know. It's just super interesting. But I would be fine, honestly, either way. I just think that from a legal perspective, it's super interesting.
I look forward to having those questions answered, to be honest. I know a lot of you are wondering the same thing.
I think in the future, too, we'll have to look forward to a change of venue. Because I'm betting that they're going to try to change the venue.
Maybe to Boise.
We'll see, I guess.
Larger city, more jury pool, perhaps. Yeah. Maybe that's what they're angling this for.
And we have a lot of listeners who live in Idaho Falls or Rexburg, even, and they say that there are memorials to JJ and Tylee all over the place. There are the blue ribbons, and it's very hard to go through the area without seeing a reference to this case.
Oh my God, don't forget that they had cupcakes.
Right?
Where's the kids' cupcakes?
In Albertsons, they had the cupcakes. So, yeah.
It's kind of hard to miss.
Indeed. That's it for this week, guys. Thank you for hanging around for this little extra edition. And we will pivot now to our Patreon Afterthoughts episode.
Until next crime.
Bye.